Canada is home to vast reserves of oil, critical minerals, fresh water, and more. It's a reality that presents many economic opportunities for our nation, but also many threats, particularly as U.S. President Donald Trump pushes aggressively for access to our resources here in Canada and in other countries. Many of us can't help but wonder, are we next? Joining us with more on how we can protect our resources is Sven Hampson. He's the co-chair of the expert group on Canada-U.S. relations at Carleton University. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Good to be with you.
So Canada, we know, is home to the third largest proven oil reserves, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of critical minerals, and a fifth of the world's freshwater supply. And we're a major supplier of wheat. Tension over all of those resources is growing globally. So what does that mean for Canada in the years ahead?
Well, Canada, as you just said, is not just a neighbor. We're the primary warehouse for a lot of things that the U.S. needs to win the tech and defense race, from copper in their power grids and AI data centers to rare earths for magnets and semiconductors, cobalt in their jet engines, uranium, nuclear reactors, obviously oil, sell a lot of that. The road to American security runs Canada. And President Trump has made it clear he views these supply chains as really the front line of America's economic renewal, but also its national defense.
Kusma, we know is up for renegotiation soon, and U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to do everything from tear up the agreement, which could affect 75% of our exports. What bargaining chips do we have at the table to prevent that from happening?
Well, it's pretty clear, I think, that our resources, and particularly our critical minerals, are really the ace in the hole, if I can use that term. Mm-hmm. We can link mineral access, which the United States desperately needs, to tariff. If the U.S. wants guaranteed priority supplies of uranium, high-grade nickel, Canada can and should be demanding carve-outs for our steel, our aluminum, our softwood lumber. The clear message our government should be sending Donald Trump and his negotiators is, you can't call us a national security threat on steel while calling us a national security partner on energy, on minerals, on the other things that you want.
That's a good point. Before invading Venezuela at the beginning of the month, Trump accused its government of being complacent in addressing drug trafficking. He called Alito a narco-terrorist. He's also using the same argument to push for military intervention right now in Mexico. He's also accused Canada, as we know, of allowing fentanyl across the border. So how likely is it that he is laying a foundation for a more forceful action against us by seeding this notion that our borders are porous?
Well, that's a great question, Anne-Marie. I think it's fair to say that on a number of occasions, Donald Trump has ruled out the military option when it comes to Canada. And as we saw in the case of Greenland last week, as he was hinting that he might take military action, he got enormous pushback from Americans, from his own party in Congress. So I think, although the risk is perhaps not zero, I would say that is not something that we should be worried about. His favorite weapon, if I can use that term, are tariffs. And the problem that he faces when he threatens, for example, as he did on the weekend, 100% tariffs on everything Canada sells to the United States is, first of all, Americans are going to be paying that tax. And secondly, it's going to push up the price of energy, of minerals, of agricultural goods we sell. And Americans are going to be feeling that in the pocketbook. There's already inflation there. So I think it's a threat we can discount to some degree.
We started this conversation by reminding everybody about the value of our resources in this country. And while we have all those resources, we lack the infrastructure to send many of them to markets outside of the U.S. in a significant way. We do so in a smaller portion, but not in a way that could replace like a market of the U.S. So building that infrastructure, we know, is going to take years. Until that is up and running, how do we maximize the use of resources that we have? How do we use that as leverage?
Well, diversification is obviously an important part of the government's strategy. It's allocated some $5 billion to rebuilding our ports, to, as you noted, strengthening that infrastructure. But I think the message we have to send to Donald Trump is, if you're serious about strengthening the American economy, strengthening those supply chains, buying more from us, you got to play ball with us. And these kinds of threats that you're making are going to turn us away from you. That was the message that our prime minister sent when he went to China to cut some new deals there. The Americans clearly didn't like it. But I think that message has landed in a way that Donald Trump is taking notice of the fact that Canada is not going to be a pat-sit negotiating table. And if we stand up to him, we're in a much stronger bargaining position.
Co-chair of the expert group on Canada-U.S. relations out of Carleton University, Fen Hansen, thanks for your time this morning.
My pleasure.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.